Let's cover the second challenge of set sampling. Let's say we sampled a test set from the dataset. Sometimes the size of the test set is a fraction of the full dataset, like 10%. Other times, in human comparison studies, because the test set needs to be annotated by human readers, the bottleneck for the test set size is how many examples can readers be expected to read. Typically, test sets contain at least hundreds of examples in medical AI studies. The challenge with sampling a test set is that when we're randomly sampling a test set of hundreds of examples from the dataset, we might not sample any patients that actually have a disease. Here, we might not sample any examples where the label for mass is 1. Thus, we would have no way to actually test the performance of the model on these positive cases. This is especially a problem with medical data where we might already have a small data set and not that many examples of each disease. One way that this is tackled when creating test sets is to sample a test set such that we have at least X% of examples of our minority class. Here the minority class is simply the class for which we have few examples, like here examples where mass is present. One common choice of X is 50%, so if we're sampling a dataset of 100 examples, we would have 50 examples of mass and 50 of not mass. This ensures that the study will have sufficient numbers to get a good estimate of the performance of the model both on non-disease and on disease examples. Once we sample the test set, typically the validation set is sampled next before train. Because we want our validation set to reflect the distribution in the test set, typically the same sampling strategy is used. We might decide to have once again 100 examples in the validation set, of which 50 are mass and 50 are non-mass. Finally, the remaining patients can be included in the training set. Because the test and validation set have been artificially sampled to have a large fraction of mass examples, the training set will have a much smaller fraction of mass examples. You have seen that we can still train a model in the presence of imbalanced data. So this covers our second challenge of set sampling.